Hello everybody, Tracy Sizemore here. I am on day two of RPGaDay, and so I'm actually on day 5, but I'm trying to catch up. So the question for today is, what is an RPG I would like to see published? And so I don't know because well, I do know, but I'll get to that. I'm not a huge fan of well, like of licensed settings of settings that are based on like movies or other properties, books, other video games or whatever. And there's exceptions to that, but a lot of that is, for me, I don't like them for two reasons. One is that if you don't know the canon is so strong in some of those. If you don't know the like everything that was ever produced or the base story completely, then you're sort of left out. So either you're the GM and trying to run in that universe and you've got players who are attracted to the game, who know the setting really well, and then all of a sudden the GM feels like, oh, well, but I'm trying to run my game and my interpretation of the setting or whatever, and you sort of run into roadblocks by some players who are just so enthusiastic about it that they they quote canon at you or correct you or they can't help themselves. It's not something that I'm like, oh, bad player. It's just that's sort of the nature of running a licensed setting. And the other and same with being a player in that kind of a setting. It's if you don't know it completely, and generally I tend to not, I don't like study these things. You sort of feel a little left out with everybody else at the table who does know it. And it can still be fun, but I tend to enjoy settings that either use those tropes from those licensed settings and then sort of file the serial numbers off, because then all of a sudden the canon doesn't matter, or settings that lend themselves easily to the role-playing game experience, meaning that it's easy to imagine that there's all kinds of other things going on besides the main characters that you would have found in that setting, and so it's easy to play within it. But a lot of times those licensed settings, not only do you have to know everything or feel like you do, and there's arguments that of course you don't, and or ways to get around that. But the other thing about it is that a lot of them are hard to understand from the point of view of an RPG. For me, one particular one that I have bounced off of many times is Star Wars. Of course, I love Star Wars. Of course, I do, and of course, I've seen the movies. I haven't read all the books and all. I don't know, all that stuff. But of course I've seen the movies, but I still don't understand it. It turns out, who knew, as much as I hate George Lucas as a director, he's the only one who really understands Star Wars. So the new movies are great, but they're not Star Wars the way they were done in the first 6 movies. So it turns out without him, you're not really feeling the vibe of what Star Wars is. Not really. Not for me, anyway. And there's no way I can do it. So when I play a Star Wars game, or when I would try to run it, I've never tried, but if I tried to run a Star Wars game, I wouldn't understand what the heck I was doing in order to create that vibe that is Star Wars. And I feel the same way about other settings, and I want to. Oh, I would love to be able to play in like a Lord of the Rings setting, like the One Ring or Adventures in Middle Earth, but I don't understand it. I do, but I don't. And so it would feel like an empty experience a little bit. It would feel like a disappointing experience because I don't really understand how to create that environment that captures what the essence of that setting is. So when it comes to licensed settings, I don't know. I tend to like the filed serial numbers and the tropes rather than the settings themselves. And but I totally understand why people are attracted. Oh, I want you know, this role-playing game or that role-playing game with the characters and everything. And I get it. I totally get it, and I get it why it sells and why it's attractive to developers. But I don't know. I prefer the other one. So to answer the question, finally, what RPG would I like to see published? I'd like to see honest to goodness superhero campaign or plot point campaign done for Savage Worlds. Because Savage Worlds has got Necessary Evil, and Necessary Evil is fantastic, and it's unique, and it's just really cool. But I liked playing it for sure, and I would enjoy running it too. But I would really like to play in a campaign where I play a hero, you know, and somebody who is like, you know, has the opportunity to be a hero and to rail against villainy and evildoers and to save people and to do all of that without the gray area. Well, a little bit of gray area is great, but without the you know, the dynamic of villains and a villain group and all that. I mean, I like it, but that's what's one of the things that Savage Worlds is missing is that pure superhero campaign, and I would like to see that published. So I don't know. I like Savage Supers, and the thing about Savage Supers is I've had to grow to enjoy it, because Savage Worlds at the very beginning is a system you sort of have to embrace the unpredictability of. And Savage Supers sort of takes that up to another level. But once you do embrace that unpredictability and embrace the fact that the system is going to take you places that you don't expect, but might be equally awesome as what you might guide it to, it can be a lot of fun. And so, anyway, that's the setting or the RPG that I would like to see published right now. So, okay, I'll do another video and I'll see you next time.